Alright, I've looked into what it was going to take to revert this to a 4-family from its current occupancy as a 2-family or 3-family, whichever it is, and that doesn't really matter. But I spoke with Shell and Meyer, and they referred me to one of their engineers, Doug Noss, and Doug Noss referred me because it wasn't really in there. An architect was going to be more required than an engineer, so they referred me to 3 or 4 architects, and I telephoned 3 or 4 of them, and they each got back with me, and their time frames are out 4 to 7 months of the ones I spoke with. So I was beginning to despair. But prior to that, I had spoken to this Christopher Nash at the City of Dayton with what was going to be required with regard to the drawings, and he, reiterated that it was going to require a professional stamp from one of these designers. So it looked like the time frame was going to get stretched out. He also seemed to indicate that, yes, sadly, unfortunately for you, that would mean additional requirements, presumably, is what he indicated, based on the updated code to take place on February 1st or March 1st. So I began to look into this code to see what exactly were going to be your challenges in terms of whether or not you were going to, since no architect was going to look at it for the moment, or engineer that I could find, I decided to look into the code and see what was going to be required for you to do what you wanted to do with this. And when I initially started trying to track this down, I started reading in here, talking about, and this was in the Ohio Building Code rules, the new proposed changes, trying to find out if you're going to have to put in anything, including sprinklers and etc. And that eventually led me to this Ohio Building Code, and most particularly the 2024 existing building code. And I was particularly interested because I was pretty sure that the existing building code will govern your structure. And this is I'm just staying quiet while you can read this. This is what I was doing, is reading this. But this code covers the change of occupancy to an existing building. And I'd love to tell you I knew what I was doing and knew where I was going, but I did not. And I decided I would look at some of these definitions, if nothing else, to determine what exactly a change of occupancy entails and what that means. And I did find it down here. And I still was not really encouraged, because that wasn't really giving me what was going to be required for you to do. But then I came down here to this definition of the existing building, and it is governed. It could be used according to section 1114, and I double checked an existing structure as well. And then I finally clicked on this 1114, and there it is. That's the only part of it that matters, is that's what's ruling, is the part highlighted in blue, and you can read that for yourself. And at this point, I would practically recommend that you do this and see what the reaction is over there. Because I, for one, am highly encouraged, particularly since it actually does use the word shall, even though that doesn't really matter, and that it's definitely more than provable that it previously existed in this condition. So I actually am very encouraged, and I think that your troubles may be over with regard to this. However, feel free to get in touch and we can discuss it further. But I am fairly confident and fairly encouraged by this. Thanks, and I look forward to speaking with you.